Barber Racing School Premier Series and Glacier TV. I am Will Vincent.
And I am Marius Galombic, and with us tonight here is Rob Sutherland, who's going to go and spot the cars on the track. And we're just about to go live, and we've got some of the cars on the grid already, and about to go green for 25 laps of packed racing.
2.53 miles, 12 turns here at Infineon Raceway. We're going to be racing for 25 laps today at Infineon, and the grid is all set now. We are waiting for the green flag, and away we go here at Infineon.
We've got Jan Nieselowski on the pole, just in front of David Williams. He has Stuart Adcock in third, and we're just going to see how this goes through the first turn here. Very narrow first turn, if everything goes clean.
Looks as though pretty much everyone managed to get up the hill okay through turn 2. Now they're going to go into turn 3A and 3B. Very difficult left then right hand complex here, as the cars, for the most part, have all seemed to be able to get past the first part of this lap okay.
Looks rather clean, and Nieselowski got a bit of a lead already. Put it a little bit riskier than Williams through the first turns, and Stuart Adcock still able to hold on to Williams for third position here.
So it does look as though the top 5 drivers have started to break away just a little bit as they bring it down the hill, down the back straightaway now as they come up towards this beautiful hairpin. And I tell you what though, Marius, that number 3 car, Jan Nieselowski, is still leading the way, and he's got himself about a 4-car length advantage.
Yeah, and we've seen Jan on Lime Rock already fighting against Dave. And, well, Dave had the advantage over him on Lime Rock, but this time it looks rather different. 4/10 of quicker lap time in qualifying, and it just looks like Dave isn't able to go the pace that Jan is doing here. And just as you've been talking about it looks like the top 5 are really breaking away a bit.
Yeah, so as they come down now, coming towards the final corner to complete lap number 1, Jan Nieselowski in the number 3 machine is your race leader. David Williams is in second position, coming under a little bit of pressure there from Stuart Adcock in the number 2 car, and then David Furrer and Stephen Edwards round out your top 5.
Ooh, and contact between Wojciech Rapstein and Pierre Toupin here in the last turn, as Toupin dives down the inside, and it looks like the race is over for Wojciech Rapstein. Very big amount of damage here to his right rear wheel. And this looked like Toupin just completely missed his braking point.
Yeah, having a look at it again myself, and just as he came into the final corner, it just looks like he did everything it was okay and just got T-boned round into that final corner. Very, very difficult section of the raceway there, and it does look as though that number 4 car's day is over.
And we're just about to get you a replay of that, as this looks unfortunate for Rapstein here, as Toupin just really completely missed his turn in and braking point there and plows onto the right rear wheel of Rapstein and finishes his race.
Yeah, and for Rapstein, he started in the 6th position. He was looking good to at least try and get himself a top 5, but that will be disappointment for him. Meanwhile, out front, Nieselowski is still your race leader with David Williams in second. He's still coming under pressure from Stuart Adcock in the number 2 car in third. But David Furrer has now also dropped back a little bit, so it's a 3-car breakaway at the front, as we're currently halfway through lap number 2.
It's a bit of a surprise there, but it looks like Stuart Adcock is really performing well on this circuit. He's able to close the gap a bit to David Williams, as Nieselowski on the first position here is able to break a bit free, just a tiny bit, and we're going to go and give you a replay of the incident between Toupin and Rapstein in the final turn again. It just looks like Rapstein is still in the pits, and gonna be a longer time of repair for him, but he hasn't given up, and his pit crew seems to be working hard to get the car back on the road.
So it does look as though that Rapstein is your only retirement. We have got the number 18 machine of Nicholas Van Tom in pit lane at the moment. Apart from that, we still have 17 cars on the lead lap as we're currently working lap number 3. And it does definitely look as though now these top 3 cars are broken away, but there's some interesting battles going on in the midfield. The number 9 car of Ari Haro is really putting pressure on Jose Maria Saez Olmo in the number 14 car. That is a battle for 8th position. And you've also got Wolfgang Wildenhaar in the number 12 car, closing down Ran Rodriguez in the number 11.
And Wildenau had a good start away, and he was able to gain a position right off the start, and now fighting against Rodriguez in 11th position. He might be able to just... yeah, well, he's in the side of the top 10, so that looks like it's his aim for tonight.
As they come down to complete lap number 3, Jan Lewandowski in the number 3 machine is still your race leader. Sorry, they're coming through the twisty section, as we like to call it, the chicane at the moment. Apologies about that. The gap is about 8/10 of a second between Lewandowski and Williams. Stuart Adcock is still right there, only about 7/10 of a second behind David Williams. So it's a Club England second and third at the moment. Club England drivers doing really well. David Farrar has fallen back, however, to 2 seconds behind this lead pack, and then Robin Lee is a further second behind in 5th.
Meanwhile, let's take a look on the lap times here. Only 25 laps, as the circuit is a bit longer than Lime Rock and a bit shorter than Laguna Seca. Just a bit. The lap times are quite comparable. 25 laps here, 1:46.17 for Nieselowski and 2:21 for Williams, and still fastest lap now for the entire race, 1:46.067 for Stuart Adcock, and it looks like Nieselowski is breaking in a tiny bit, and that will give Williams and Adcock the chance to close the gap and maybe make it a three-way fight for the lead.
Stephen Edwards has connection issues. That's going to drop him at least 1 lap down, moving him down to the 17th position. So that really leaves 16 cars on the lead lap as we're currently working lap 4 of 25 here at Infineon Raceway. A beautiful, beautiful racetrack. We haven't really talked about it too much, but this track's got so many twists, turns, undulations, climbs up the hill, the beautiful S section, Marius, but it's really, really challenging for these drivers, and passing opportunities are hard.
To quote Rob Sutherland here, he's saying it is a bit of a dust bowl here, and I can agree. Although you said it right, it's a challenging track, and we'll surely bring it closer to you as we've got the 4th lap almost done here and 20 more to go. And Rob just gave us a bit of intel on the other split here. As you know, we've got a snake split system, 2 splits tonight, which we picked one off, and this is going to be the split for about the same amount of points than the other one, but of course we can only broadcast one. And Will, we've got some standings from that split.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting at the moment. Christian Haraha is currently leading the way with Kurt Crum in 2nd, Palumbo in 3rd, Ewan Gansveld in 4th, and Xavier Bousson is currently running out your top 5. Here, Lewandowski is still your race leader with David Williams in 2nd, Adcock in 3rd, David Furrer in 4th, and Robin Lee rounding out your top 5. But I tell you what, these 3 are seriously breaking away. The gap between 3rd position, Stuart Adcock, and 4th, David Furrer, is now up to 5 seconds. So these 3, it doesn't look as though Lewandowski can get away, but Williams and Adcock doing a sterling job in 2nd and 3rd.
Meanwhile, we're on board with Ari Harrow here for the fight of 8th position, and we've got a really good onboard camera, as you can see how steep it goes up the hill for the first turn, and then it goes right away into the compression 2nd, 3rd, 4th turn, S's, and you see that he can't really get so close than we've seen on Lime Rock, and well, it's just a matter of staying behind your enemy and just trying to make up positions as your enemy makes the mistake you're waiting for.
The number 17 car of Tim Abbott, who's riding in the 13th position, just losing it into the hairpin. The second incident we've seen in that final corner here today, just managing to keep it out the walls and will have no further damage done to his car. But his tyre is going to have a couple of flat spots on them, as he's now dropped back into the 15th spot.
The fight for the lead is progressing and heating up, as Nieselowski, with another bad lap in the lead, is struggling, and maybe he's got his eyes more on the mirror than up front. And it looks like both Williams and Adcock are able to close the gap here, as Williams has closed it to about 0.6 seconds only, and Adcock is right behind him, so it's definitely going to be a 3-way fight for the lead. David Furrer, Robin Lee in 4th and 5th position, already down by about 7 and 8 seconds, so these 3 guys will definitely decide the win for the day's race.
To run through the rest of your top 10, Luca Zanetti is in 6th position. He 10 seconds behind the race leader. Pierre Topper is 15 seconds behind in 7th. Jose Maria Says Olmo is in 8th position, still having that battle with Ari Harrow in that battle for 8th. And then Christopher Bowl rounds out your top 10. He is 29 seconds now behind the race leader. But I tell you what, as Williams is getting held up ever so slightly behind Lewandowski, that is allowing Adcock the chance to put pressure onto Williams. So it really is going to be a case of Adcock's not really been in this position so far in the SkipBarber Racing School Premier Series. So he's really got a shot to try and go for the win here.
And we already had one split today, and that one has been won by Christian Runner as far as I'm concerned. So that puts the runner up in the standings, but if you see the total, and with a good result this week, it could be both Jan Nieselowski and David Williams taking the lead of the championship. Williams meanwhile 282 points and Nieselowski 268, only 14 points difference, and also Stuart Adcock only down by about 20 points here. So Christian Runner, the man to beat, and as he's alone in the other split and probably going to go for an easy win there, these three guys are definitely fighting for the best set of points in this split.
Stuart Adcock in the number 2 car, getting very close to David Williams in the 1 as they came through the final corner. It does look as though for the moment Lewandowski is safe in that first position. To run through the snake split system a little bit, it literally is, as the name says, a snake split. So driver with the fastest qualifying time will line up in split number 1. Second and third fastest qualifying times will line up in split number 2. Then 4th and 5th into split 1. 6th and 7th into split 2. Marius is confusing, but what it does mean is that each of these races are pretty much worth equal points, so you really have got to go for the win in whichever race you're in.
It is a bit confusing, but the good thing is you don't have to bother with it. You just go, put your qualifying time out and race and just enjoy the fun, as it's meant to be an equal split, but as we see, it looks like Christian Runner has picked a bit of an easy one here, while Nieselowski, Williams and Adcock, both three very equal drivers, are really heavily fighting for the win here. But still, it is probably a lot more equal than if you were put it by regular splitting, so this is a good system and definitely good for these races.
So Lewandowski is still race leader with David Williams in 2nd, Stuart Adcock still in 3rd, David Furrow still in 4th, Robin Lee still in 5th. It's not Rob in currently looking at the 2nd split. We do apologise. It is Jarno. Glacier TV's very own Jarno. So we will try and get you top 5 standing from that any moment now. But there's still a really good battle going on for 8th and 9th position that we haven't really talked about. Jose Maria Sanz Olmo is still under a ton of pressure, so was under a ton of pressure from Ari Harrow, but I believe that fight is broken off just for the moment. Having a look back on the replay, and Jose Maria actually just loses it coming up the hill into turn number 2, so he's now given the position away to that number 9 car of Ari Harrow.
And it just looked like, well, in a nutshell, you can really see how he's struggling with this car. First turn, so much compression, so steep uphill, and just taking a bit of a wrong line into the turn, and he spins the car around and loses the position against Ari Harrow.
Stuart Adcock putting all kinds of pressure now on David Williams. Each time Adcock goes to try and make an offensive move, David Williams is having to defend, and that is stopping him from being able to put pressure on to Jan Lewandowski in the first position currently, in the number 3 car. So for Williams, he's pretty much having to defend while trying to attack, and you can only really do one at a time in this car, and this could cost him the race win, the fact he's having to defend so hard that 2nd position.
And you've just seen it in the replay, and, well, pretty much nothing to do for Jose Maria Saez Olmo, as he just puts the car a bit sideways into the turn and spins it as he hits the grass. And thanks for that, and we're going to jump to Luca Zanetti versus Robin Lee right away.
This is a great battle. As you see it live on your screen now, Robin Lee down on the inside. You've got Luca Zanetti on the outside as they come down. This is where the cars pretty much have to get single file through the S's to complete this lap. If Zanetti can get a good run in the last portion of this lap, really try and close down going to the final corner, he have the opportunity to make the move. But for the moment, it does look as though he's not quite close enough, but closing now as they come down down the final part of the S's onto the final little bit of the straightaway, down into the final corner, but it doesn't look as though he's going to have the job done. But Robin Lee is under all sorts of pressure at the moment for that number 5 machine.
But it just looks like Luca Zanetti is going to have to wait for a mistake from Robin Lee. And, well, I think we've seen these guys fighting. At least I can remember Robin Lee from Lime Rock. And he's done a great job there, especially just fighting all the race. And it's not going to be a communist curse, I hope. But he hasn't really done any mistakes there. So we're going to stick with this. It looks like this is going to shape up for a very interesting battle.
Yeah, Robin Lee's done a sterling job so far in the SkipBarber Racing School Premier Series on iRacing. Currently sat in the 5th position. I would expect him to at least finish in the top 6 here today. I just see Zanetti making a bold move on the outside there. That was never going to work out. I think he just outbraked himself and had to dive to the outside line to avoid running over Robin Lee in that number 8 machine. But Robin Lee, Zanetti are all doing a great job. Pierre Topper in the number 6 car, holding on nicely to the 7th position. He is 7 seconds behind this battle for the 5th spot, but he's managed to pull clear by 14 seconds to Ari Harrow in 8th.
And we've got Nieselowski catching up the first back marker here. Nicholas Van Tom struggling a bit earlier in the race, so he dropped back. And that's going to be the first lapping of the race. Luckily, there should be enough room here for the cars. We had a bit of a nightmare on Lime Rock, if you can remember. It was close track, close racing, and sometimes you had to have your eyes literally everywhere and on every side of the car. So looks clean, and both the top 3 guys are past Nicholas Van Tom, and he's just had his eyes in the right direction, and this just worked out.
Yeah, because there's so many more big braking zones here at Infineon, it's so much easier for cars to just get out of the way going into a braking zone, let the cars pass and not lose too much time. I mean, Van Tom is now 2 laps down, but as they come to lap some of these other drivers, they are still fighting for position, so they will need to be, careful that they don't lose too much time when they do go a lap down. And of course, there is no obligation for these drivers to just dive out of the way. So to run through your standings at the moment, Jan Lewandowski is still your race leader. David Williams is in 2nd. Stuart Adcock 3rd. David Forer in 4th. Robin Lee is in 5th. Luca Zanetti is in 6th position, still putting pressure on Robin Lee. Pierre Topper is in 7th. Ari Harrow is in 8th. Jose Maria says Olmo lost that spot earlier on. He's now down into 9th. Young Rodriguez is in 10th. Wolfgang Wildenhart is in 11th. Christopher Bull in 12th. Mark Newlett in 13th. Oliver Felsk in 14th. Fabrizio Cuttin is in 15th. And Tim Abbott is the last car on the lead lap in 16th. We have 1 retirement so far, and that is the number 4 machine, Wolfgang Rapsian.
And thanks for that, Will. We've also got some intel from Jarno from the other split, as he's spotting the other split for the standings, and it just looks like it is going to stay as true as we've been describing it. First position, Christian Aranda with a mere 6.7 seconds here in front of Kurt Krumm. It's looking also good for Krumm here. Third position, Ermanno Palumbo, 19 seconds down already, fighting with Jerome Ganzeveld, 20 seconds down, and then in 5th we've got Martin Glösmans, 27 seconds. And if you look at that, Will, 27 seconds, he's 5th in the other grid, and he would have been 8th in this grid. So it's split in the right way, but it's just looking like it's a bit easier to be in the other split.
Oh yeah, definitely, and that is one of the things with the snake split system. You don't know who you're going to race until literally the very last second. You could make guesses. I'm sure Adcock really charging down David Williams in that battle for the 2nd position. But, I think Anraha knows that he wouldn't have to face Lewandowski, so he kind of got off lucky there. And it's one of those things with the snake split system. Whilst you don't know exactly who you race, you kind of can get a guess of who you won't be racing, and that could be a disadvantage to some of these drivers. Just to update you, the number 4 machine of Woodskid Rathburn is actually still running in the race. However, he is 4 laps down. We do have our first official retirement of the day, however. That is Tim Abbott in the number 17 car. He is retired from the race after a 2nd spin on the hairpin, so his day is now over. He decided to bring the car down into pit lane, and he is out.
Yeah, it just looked like another spin for Tim Abbott in the last turn here, and then he decided to make it official and quit the race, called it a day, as I think he got a bit damage from the first spin, so I'm not quite sure if he hit the barriers there. But yeah, it's definitely not worth continuing for him, and he called it a day.
Luca Zanetti is a lot closer now to Robin Lee as they come through the S's once again. It did look as though Zanetti was trying to go round the outside, but what he might have done there is got himself better drive off the corner, so as they come through the section, he could be a lot closer to try and make a move down into the hairpin. He lost himself about a car length flow at the very end of that. It does look as though Robin Lee is almighty on that last section of the S's, which is saving him so far as they both go round the lap traffic. This is still going to be a battle that will go on until the very end, and Zanetti is doing everything he can to try and get around Robin Lee for 5th.
Yeah, and well, you can see this has been going on for some laps now, and there are not that much overtaking opportunities here, so you really want to set up your pass to the right amount of risk, the right time and right position on the track. But still, as your opponent might not make the necessary mistakes here, you're not able to completely execute your pass, and then it looks like Luca Zanetti's also trying to play it safe, as these guys are fighting for 6th position, and these are some valuable points, as well, you know, there are not just prizes for the winner here, so we've got prizes for mainly all of the guys on the grid. So even if you score 7th or 8th, you might be able to make it into top 10 of the championship, and now it looks like Zanetti's trying it around the outside.
Yeah, as he did the last lap, he gets good drive into the corner, but just can't hold it down in the middle and exit of that double apex right-hander. And that allows Robin Lee to get ahead going into the S's once again. Perhaps a change of tactic is necessary here for Zanetti. He does know that he's not as fast through the S's to try and make a move down into the final corner. But there are a couple of other places on this racetrack you can try and make a move. Turn 2 and turn 3 especially are ones that if you're close enough, you can definitely have the opportunity to do so. As Stuart Adcock is right back again onto the back of David Williams. They have lap traffic ahead of him. So they have Janu Andalski, who's got a lot closer there. He's lost himself a ton of time. The gap between the top 3 drivers is now down to less than 1 second as we're just over halfway through round 3 of the SkipBarber Racing School Premier Series here on Glacier TV. We've got Will Vincent and Marius Gollenbeck in the commentary booth, and halfway through the race, this battle for the top 3 is seriously hotting up.
And we're going to stick with them for a bit, but also keep an eye on Robin Lee and Luca Zanetti, of course. But at the moment, it could be anyone's race, as we see Jan Nieselowski very much sideways here in the long left. And now it might be the time for Williams. Oh, that was very close for David Williams there. I don't know how he hold that.
But that's going to allow Adcock the chance to have a look down the inside. They're going to be too wide through these double apex. Don't hit each other. And it does look as though Williams is going to have the opportunity just to get ahead going into the S's. That was a serious moment there for David Williams. And somehow he just managed to save it. But these two are still putting a ton of pressure onto Lewandowski in that battle for the race lead. And I tell you what, these two, if they work together, they have an opportunity to get an England 1-2 here. But I'm sure both of them want to fight for the win.
It doesn't look like they're working together, but still, it's just, you can see how it's heating up, and we're only in lap 13, now entering lap 14. But this is just what it's about. This is what the snake split system is going to provide. We've got fights all over the track, and especially for the three-way fight for the lead. This is what we're showing you right now at Glacier TV. It could be anyone's race.
So this battle for the top 3 is definitely hotting up as we're on lap 14 of 25 now. Adcock just gets a tremendous run through turns 1 and 2. But because of the lines these drivers take, he can't have the opportunity to make it work. That battle for 5th position is still going on with Robin Lee and Luca Zanetti. These two are still going ding-dong with each other. Also, just to note it, Jose Maria says Olmo is really trying to close down Ari Harrow at the moment. But these top 3 drivers, Adcock does want to get past David Williams. And I think he wants to drive his way to the race lead.
I am absolutely speechless. This is a baffling fight for the win. We've just seen almost contact with all 3 of them, and it really looks like they are going at it, as we're just approaching 3 guys who are lapped, and this could be a small decider here. If one of these guys gets the better off this. This could really make an advantage.
Adcock looking to the outside. He's not going to get the drive through the middle of the corner, but let's not forget that Christopher Bull in 14th, Oliver Felt in 15th. These guys are fighting for 14th position, so they're doing their own battle on the racetrack. These guys are going to have to hope that they catch him just at the right time, but they're not. Looking like Lewandowski's going to have to try and catch him through the last section of the S's. We're almost going to be 3 wide to come out here. Drivers moving all over the place, but David Williams is trying to seize the advantage going down into the final corner. This is going to be interesting. Where are these drivers going to go? 3 widers have come into the corner, but all 3 of them just somehow managed to get through okay.
This is just heating up to be one fantastic battle, and it already is now. Stuart Adcock on the right side of Williams trying to approach the first turn on the inside, and Adcock just having a bit of an understeery car here, more understeery than Williams, and now it looks like he might be able to get it through.
Just backed off a little bit there, but he's got the drive going to turn 2. They almost touched there. I was going to say, if Adcock could keep it going on that right-hand side, 2 wide through turn 1, he would have had the perfect line into turn number 2, but he just had to back off the throttle a little bit there to stop himself running into the back of David Williams, and that gives Williams just a couple of corners of breathing space.
And still, with that amount of fighting, Nieselowski in the lead is not able to get away. And this is just simply incredible. Williams and Adcock battling almost 3-4 times on the track. As you can see that Williams is running a very oversteery car, especially on the exit of turns, always kicking out the rear wheels. And well, Adcock looks like he's a bit more understeery, so in every turn where Williams makes a mistake due to oversteer, Adcock is right there, and it looks like they are just costing so much time. The last lap's 48.6 for these guys. I mean, 48, that is 2 seconds, 2.4 seconds indeed slower than the normal lap times, and still Nieselowski, due to the lap traffic, is just not able to get away.
To update you on the other split that we're unfortunately not showing at the moment, at the end of lap 15, Christian Hara is still your race leader. Kurt Crum is 10.5 seconds behind the race leader, with Gransfeld in 3rd, Palumbo in 4th, and Glosman in 5th.
The battle between Robin Lee and Luca Zanetti is also heating up a tiny bit, but Zanetti still not made his way past, and that just shows that the fight on Lime Rock between Robin Lee and another competitor of this series has not been a one-day off. So it really looks like Robin Lee is looking very strong in this car, and it looks like he's able to hold on to 5th position along.
I tell you what, that number 3 machine, Arvin Lewandowski, is doing a sterling job out front. It does look as though his tyres have seriously started to go away from him, but it does look as though, simply as we talked about earlier, overtaking is so difficult. Neither of the 2 drivers behind have had the opportunity to really make a decent passing manoeuvre, and if you can defend your line here, then Lewandowski has got the opportunity to drive his way down into victory lane.
We are meanwhile in the 16th lap of the race, 25 laps in total, so that means we've got about 9.5 laps to go, of course. And this battle is going on for more than 10 laps, and I expected Nieselowski, I mean, well, you look at the qualifying times and see Nieselowski got a 4/10 quicker qualifying time. So you expect him to run away, but no chance, and Williams and Adcock are just right on his tail, and it's still not decided.
I have a feeling that number 3 machine pushed his tyres a little bit too hard at the start of this run, and that has allowed Williams and Adcock to catch him severely. Just to update you, we have our second official retirement of the day. That is the number 15 machine of Christopher Bull, just coming down into turn up the hill through turn 1 into turn 2, losing the rear end of the car, spearing him off the racetrack. His day is done, but this top 3 battle is severely hotting itself up. Let's not forget, as Luca Zanetti just goes past there, just as I flick over to him, he just passes Robin Lee through the S's, so he is now up into the 5th position. Robin Lee demoted down into 6th, but I do expect Robin Lee to try and counteract that in the next lap or so.
That has been a brilliant move from Zanetti here. He just went on the outside, and that is exactly what we've seen Stuart Adcock trying for 2nd position here. As you see it in the replay, he's just able to get the run out of the turn, and then it was only up to Robin Lee to really fight back, and he took the safe way out, and We've got 9 laps to go, and Robin Lee is definitely thinking about getting him back for that, but he took the safe way out of this one, and probably this is the right decision, as they don't want to throw away the 5th and 6th position here.
So you'll see the standings in a moment on the left-hand side of your screen. However, your top 5, Jan Lewandowski is in first. David Williams across the line last time by, less than half a second behind. Rushua Adcock only a further 2/10 of a second behind in third. David Furrow is in fourth position, and Luca Zanetti now up into the top 5. And we have got ourselves less than 8 laps to go here at Infineon Raceway, and these top 3 have been fighting hammer and tongue for the last 5, 6 or so laps, and it'll be interesting to see whether Williams or Adcock's tyres start to go away, as they've been fighting so hard to try and get that race lead, and that might allow Lewandowski to get himself a little bit of breathing space up front.
I can only say once again, this could be anyone's race. I'm pretty sure that David Williams has been pushing his rears for quite a long amount of the race, and quite hard for a long amount of the race, as we just see Adcock tapping it on the grass and going very sideways here, still holding the car on track, and it's just these guys are always making these little mistakes, and usually you expect someone who's not doing that many mistakes. So Jan Niezlowski almost mistake-free so far. You expect him to run away, but so far, even with the mistakes, Williams and Adcock are just at his tail.
And one of the things as well, because these cars only have a low top speed, it means that you can make yourself a little bit of mistakes, lose yourself 5 miles an hour, but the way that you get onto the throttle and roll off the throttle here, I see Williams getting sideways, Adcock onto the gravel trap. He's going to lose he's going to lose that chance to fight for the win, but he's got himself enough of a gap that he's going to not lose third position. But just as I was saying that these drivers coming under pressure, so just as you were saying, Adcock makes the first big mistake of the race, of the top 3, and that is now going to allow Williams the chance to just go man on man with Nowalowski as they come down to complete lap 18 in just a matter of a moment's time.
And well, I wouldn't say this is over completely. It looks like the podium is decided, as you said, because David Foray in 4th is down by 24 seconds. And I'm not quite sure if this is completely decided up front, because if Williams and Niezlowski start fighting here, it could be the possibility that Adcock gets back to them. And I just saw that Luca Zanetti is into the pits.
Yeah, and that is disappointing for Zanetti. He managed to work his way up into the 5th position. Gonna have a look back and see if he has any. He's had some front wing damage to his race car, completely torn off there. So he was involved in a moment. I'm having a look back to see exactly what happened to him. But he had a moment as he came around the hill on lap 17. So he just went all the way wide on that 180-degree left-hander in the middle of the lap. Just got himself onto the gravel, and once he was on there, he just couldn't turn the car at all and hit the tyre barrier in a really weird place. But he is losing all sorts of time now, as he's going to be demoted to at least 14th position.
That is unfortunate for Luca Zanetti, fighting for 5th position with Robin Lee here, and that looks like Robin Lee in 5th position is also bringing it home safe. David Foray in 4th, 24 seconds down, Robin Lee 34 seconds, and Pierre Tupin in 6th position, 43 seconds down. So these 3 guys are probably just looking to secure their places, as Ari Harrow in 7th is already down by more than 1 minute, and we're going to go right back to the battle of the lead between David Williams and Jan Niezlowski.
And after having to defend for a large portion of this race, David Williams now is clearly in attack mode in that number 1 machine. And Marius, I know that I think I know who you want to win this race, but do you think that Nowalowski has got the opportunity to defend from Williams now he's into full attack mode with just over 6.5 laps to go?
I can't say who's going to win this. I expected Dave to win on Lime Rock, but especially there, where it looked all set for Niezlowski, just a tiny mistake and Williams was passed. And, well, I didn't expect that. I just thought he might have a chance, but then again, anything can happen. But at the moment, I'm especially interested to see how Dave and Jan are fighting, because now that David hasn't got Stuart Adcock so close in his mirror, it's about 4 seconds of gap. He might have more breathing space, and since we've only got 6 laps to go, this might be exactly the thing needed for him to really make the pass.
And they've got lap traffic coming up once again as they're currently going through turn number 2. The lap traffic is that of Fabrizio Coutin, who is currently in 12th position, the last car on the lead lap. So this will be interesting where they catch him, whether Williams will be able to use that to his advantage. It looks as though they're probably going to catch him into that 180-degree royal left-hander as they come through turn number 6. And I think that they'll just about be able to get around him okay without causing too many issues. But we've seen this before, as you see there, Coutin just going all the way down to the inside, allowing the two faster drivers to go around on the right. We've seen before how having a slow car, you know, on the racetrack just incites you a little bit, but it does look as though that number 3 machine of Nowalski was just fine going through that, and the same with Williams. So good, careful driving between these front 2 drivers.
And David Williams has a lot of work to do now. He's just been losing a bit more time than Nieselowski by that action. And now he's about 1 second behind, and maybe that is exactly what Nieselowski needs. 5.5 laps to go here, and the win is still not decided at Infineon Raceway here. And if you've just tuned in, you're watching the Glacier TV broadcast of the 3rd round of the SkipBarber Racing School Premier Series here on Infineon Raceway, and we're about to go to the heated up last 5 laps of the race, of a very interesting race, I have to say, with a lot of battling here, especially in the top 3, and we've still not got the top 2 decided. Not sure if Stuart Adcock is still able to cling on to the top 2, but so far it's Nieselowski versus Williams.
It did look as though last time by, Adcock lost himself about 6 tenths to a second over his leading jury. He's managed to close that gap by 4 tenths, but unless these two really start fighting heavily, Adcock is not going to have the opportunity to get back to this lead pack. We still have 2 retirements in this race. That is the number 17 machine of Tim Abbott and the number 15 machine of Christopher Bull. Stephen Edwards is still in the race, however he's scored 18th and penultimate to last through connection issues that has plagued him all race long. But it does look as though Williams got a lot closer this lap, but he's really got to time his move. He's going to have any chance of getting this race lead. You see lap traffic again ahead. This is Nicholas Van Tom. He's going to go another lap down. That will put him 3 laps down. As you see Williams there, just looking to the left-hand side here as they come down. It doesn't look as though Williams is really going to get the job done. You just see there, all the way off the racetrack, and this is Van Tom goes. Just allow these 2 drivers. But Williams is now going to have the advantage to come down into the Estes side by side for the race lead. Is Williams going to be able to get the job done? Not quite.
Oh, Nieselowski across the grass. Oh, and he takes out Williams, and they're both out.
I cannot believe this. The 2
that puts Stuart Adcock right up. Adcock is back in the lead. That is incredible. Nieselowski and Williams both heavily damaged and probably looking for a pit stop. What an amazing turn of this race!
And just coming through the S's as we were going side by side, it looked as though Williams first was the one who had a little bit of a judgment going over the curbs a little bit too strongly. At the same time, Nowalski just goes off the racetrack, and as he comes back on, nothing he could do. Once you're off the racetrack, you have absolutely no grip on these small road tyres. Speared back onto the racetrack, right into the path of David Williams, and both of these 2 drivers at the moment are struggling to try and get down pit lane. David Williams is down pit lane, Jan Rundowski's down pit lane. Your race leader, with less than 4 laps to go, is Stuart Adcock in the number 2 machine.
And you know what, this is going to bring David Fourier and Robin Lee up to 2nd and 3rd position, and they are probably going to be absolutely surprised in their cockpit. They probably don't know what has happened, and they just see that Nieselowski and Williams drop down the grid, and especially for Stuart Adcock, this is probably the biggest surprise ever.
So after falling back to 5 seconds behind the race lead earlier on, through to a little error in turn number 3, that turned out to be Stuart Adcock's blessing, as he is now your race leader by a tremendous margin. David Fourier, by the look of it, is going to come up into the 2nd position. Robin Lee, after losing position earlier on to Luca Zanetti, is up into the 3rd spot. Pierre Topper into 4th, and Ari Harrow will round out your top 5. We're just waiting for the timing and scoring to sort itself out. As David Williams and Jan Rundowski are both down in pit lane, both getting repairs to their race car, and for the moment, there's absolutely nothing these guys can do as they're getting themselves required repaired.
And you only just said it, we've got a replay going on here, and we have to interrupt you a bit, as we've seen it once already, but now we've got Williams and Nieselowski once again, as Williams takes it out of the hairpin better, and you see he's got the charge on, and just side by side, as Nieselowski decides to cut his line a bit, goes over the grass, Williams struggling himself, and he didn't expect Nieselowski to really spin the car into the wall there. Probably in this situation, expecting Nieselowski to go straight, risk the slowdown, and then just come in safe. But this way, it just couldn't turn out this way. He couldn't go to any other way but there, and he takes out himself and David Williams. And well, that just looks like Stuart Adcock is going to bring it home safe, and that's going to be a tremendous surprise.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just having a look at his lap times, they dropped off in that last lap by 3 seconds. Adcock is doing everything he can to make sure he doesn't put himself under too much pressure, doesn't make a mistake. He knows he pretty much has this win in the bag for the moment. Tell you what, though, a tremendous turn of events here at Infineon Raceway with less than 5 laps to go. Your race leader and second position taken out of the race pretty much, and amazing turn of events, and probably the biggest single event in the iRacing SkipBarber Premier Series. And Marius, these two drivers are being cordial here, but both must be hugely disappointed.
And yeah, I can only imagine it. And David Williams saying it in the spectator chat. It was fun while it lasted, and that is just what you've been seeing here. It has been a great race between these guys, as David Williams is the first of them to get out of the pits, and Jan Nieselowski just running. And it looks like they both couldn't get their whole amount of damage repaired. David Williams still running with bent wheels and bent wings here. Nieselowski with a bit more damage here, almost spinning it again. Yes, spinning it again in the second turn. And it just looks like it's not able to continue, and that is a retirement for Jan Nieselowski, and that is very unfortunate.
Yeah, David Williams is tiptoeing his way around the racetrack. You see that he's having to turn that car 4 times as he came into turn number 7, just to keep it on the racetrack. It does look as though David Williams' car is just about drivable. Nieselowski's car is undrivable, however. He has retired pretty much from this race. Williams, however, is just trying...
Well, yeah, he's just trying, as you've just been cutting out a bit, trying to maybe end this race on a safe note. We've still got the safety rating and I rating in effect, and as David Williams is a pro World Cup licensed driver, he's gonna lose more than a regular A licensed driver, and well, Jan Nieselowski is only Class B, so he's probably going to end up with a bit of a plus on his license, while David Williams is going to get a big amount of minus here, and he's just looking to finish the race and maybe get some safety rating or some safe points here.
And in the other split, the battle between Gansveld and Palumbo is hotting up. I believe that is a bit the battle for third position, unless Jana is going to correct me, which he probably will do any moment now. Stuart Adcock is your race leader with less than 1.5 laps to go. He's currently coming through the S's down towards the final corner, and in a matter of moments he will be getting the white flag. David Farr is currently running in second, Robin Lee in third, Pierre Topper in fourth, Ari Harrow in fifth. And as Stuart Adcock comes through the hairpin, the white flag's in air. 1 lap to go left for Stuart Adcock for what pretty much will be one of his biggest wins in iRacing in a very long time.
Meanwhile, in the other split, which we are not able to broadcast, we've got a fight between Jerome Ganzeveld and Emmanuel Palumbo for third position. Christian Ranha still leading the pack and about to finish the race as race winner. Kirk Crum in second position, also dominating here, 12 seconds behind Ranha, but 34 seconds in front of third position Ganzeveld. Emmanuel Palumbo still in fourth, Martin Glusman in fifth, so no big difference there, and they are also just about to finish the race.
And David Williams is now down into the 13th position, 1 lap down. So that shows just how much he's lost here today. But for some of these other drivers, David Farr, Robin Lee, Pierre Topper, Ari Harrow, who's currently in the top 5, this is an absolute bonus for their point positions. And whilst they might not be fighting for the overall championship, the gap for the top 10 these points gaps are very, very small, so a big payout for some of these drivers is really going to help their championship charges. Stuart Adcock has now got less than half a lap to go here at Infineon Raceway. He's got some lap traffic ahead of him, that is Wolfgang Wildenhaar. He probably won't come into play. He's currently in 8th, the last car on the lead lap, as we're keeping an eye in our ears on the other split. Palumbo, we're thinking, might try something on the final lap. In this split, however, Stuart Adcock now has just got one more turn left to go to take race victory, breaking it down into the final corner, all the way down to 40 miles an hour as he comes through the apex, as he brings it back up to speed. All he's got is a simple left-hand kink left to go. Stuart Adcock is your race winner here at Infineon.
Meanwhile, in the other split, it looks like Jerome Gemseveld is going to take the 3rd position here, and Armando Palumbo left in 4th, so it looks like the top 5 are also decided there. But Stuart Adcock, meanwhile, in this race, I wouldn't say undeserved, but definitely a surprise. But, well, it is definitely deserved, because you've seen the amount of fighting, and you've seen the amount of battle going on between Adcock, Williams, and Nieselowski, and any one of these 3 guys completely deserving the race win here.
Oh yeah, as David Farr comes across the line, he's going to take 2nd position. Robin Lee is just coming out the final corner now to take 3rd position. But as I said earlier, for Adcock, probably his biggest blessing was the fact that he ran off track midway through this race in turn number 3. That put himself 5 seconds behind the race lead after battling for 2nd and 1st all race long. That was the biggest blessing in disguise that he could have ever hoped for. Whilst he thought earlier that his race was done, had you have been in that battle when the accident occurred between Nieselowski and David Williams, he would have been involved as well. But Stuart Adcock steals win here at Infineon, and I'm sure him and the entirety of the top 5 are going to be tremendously happy with their work.
And this will probably bring Stuart Adcock into 2nd position of the championship, as we've almost got all the cars in the finish here, and then we can also tell you the points. It looks like Christian Runner still the winner of the day, and another win for him here, so it looks like he's able to extend his championship lead, and still will. It's only a matter of time until we see Christian Runner together with Adcock, Williams and Nieselowski in one split, and I'm not quite sure who's going to be the winner there.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, to round out your top 5 in the other split, Aranha comes home in 1st position, as you just mentioned. Kurt Crum in 2nd. Gransol, we did mention, kept onto that 3rd position. Palumbo had to settle for 4th. And Martin Goldsburn finished in the top 5. And just having a look through the championship points, I'm not fully sure if they are updated. Aranha leads the championship with Marco Corti in 2nd, and that race win has put, if I'm correct, Tim Adcock up into the 3rd position for was before this race. We're just waiting for the results to come through. They should be done any moment now.
It just looks like Adcock is maybe even able to cling on to 2nd position in the championship. 150 points, so far the biggest point set of the season here. 150 points for Stuart Adcock. David Furey in 2nd takes another 141, and that is also really good. And Robin Lee in 3rd, 133. David Williams still takes 58, and Jan Nieselowski 33. And, well, it's going to be updated any minute, and all we can tell you so far is that Christian Runner is definitely going to stay in 1st position.
Yeah, and that is going to be I wouldn't say a relief for Aranha, but a well-deserved 1st position for the Club Florida driver. Just having a look through his stats, 6 starts now, 6 wins, 6 top 5s, 6 pole positions. He's pretty much dominating this iRacing SkipBarber Racing School Premier Series at the moment, and it is down to other drivers to, try and make that charge.
And we're just going to bring up the result for a final checkup here on the standings, as we've seen a very interesting race, very interesting third round of the season here. Stuart Adcock takes the 150 points and the race win here on Infineon Raceway in front of David Foray in second and Robin Lee in third. Very strong performance, especially by Foray. We haven't really seen him on the stream, so quiet performance by him, but definitely putting it down into second position. Pierre Tupin in fourth, Arihara also in fifth. I mean, he started in 12th, so 7 places gained. That is a good job by him. Jose Maria Saiz Olmo, 6th position. Juan Rodriguez, 7th. Wolfgang Wildenhauer in 8th. Fabrizio Cattin in 9th. Closing down the top 10 after having a bit of an issue in the long left-hander, Luca Zanetti. Mark Nellett, 11th, in front of David Williams after the unlucky incident with Jan Niezolowski in 12th. Oliver Felske, 13. Nicholas Van Tom, 14. Jan Niezolowski in 15, already out of the race about 5 laps before the finish. Wojciech Mapstein also not finished in 16th position. Christopher Wall, Stephen Atwards and Tim Abbott in the last 3 positions, as we're about to see the race deciding crash once again. It was just a matter of centimeters in the beginning, as we see Williams comes around the outside, just trying to hold this line, and then it's Niezolowski on the right side, getting it sideways, getting it across the dirt, and instead of going straight and keeping his car on the track, he puts it sideways, and then it's just too late to correct, and Williams probably not expecting it, and ramming it right into the rear. So race over for both of them, race over for Niezolowski and Williams, and that is just handing the win on a golden tablet to Stuart Abbott.
And to be honest, I mean, there was absolutely nothing David Williams could have done. In many ways, there was nothing that Niezolowski could have done either, just because of the fact that once you get yourself onto the grass here, Marius, it's very, very difficult to, keep it in any form of direction. You're pretty much going where the car tells you it's going to do. Confirmation now of the championship point. Christian Aranha is still the championship leader with 431 points. But as you predicted, Marius, Stuart Adcock is up into the second position. Kurt Krum is in third. Marco Corti in fourth. And Pierre Topper rounds out your top 5.
It's still close at the top. 431 points for Arana. Adcock 412 and Kurt Krum 395. And, well, David Williams dropped down to 8th position, only 340, so he's also 90 points behind the lead. Niezolowski 292, so 140 points, almost 1 week behind already. And this is going to be a hard job for them, as we're going to round 4, Road Atlanta. One of the most challenging racetracks in the service, and especially with a new tire model, very nifty, very much of sideways action over the curbs. And we're going to see you right back in 2 weeks, and I can't think of any reason not to tune in for that after this race.
Oh yeah, Road Atlanta is a beautiful racetrack, 2.54 miles, 12 turns, a beautiful racetrack, but very, very challenging, as you mentioned. We'll be back there in 2 weeks' time, and meanwhile, all it really is to say is goodbye from me, goodbye from Marius, and we'll see you at Road Atlanta.